We all agree that the extra cost of buying will be the difference between the buying price and the making price, isn't it? Okay, we know that it is expensive to buy in all cases. It's expensive to buy. So we want to find out the extra cost of buying. Okay, so equals
If
no if please, but this is just a
C19.
18C.
C19.
Madam, you are saying 18C. 18C. C18 or 18C?
C18, sorry.
Okay, so equals C19 actually. C19 comes because C19 is the bigger is the bigger number. Okay, C19 minus
C18.
C18. Correct. We enter, so we replicate. We copy down. So we have 3, 4, 4 and 7. Actually, this will take it also to 2 decimal places. I'm going to do that. Yes. So it's 3, 4, 3.75, and 2.5. Okay, is that clear? So it's 3, 4, 3.75, and 2.5. So the extra cost of buying per unit, okay, is what we're going to use. So, but ideally, if we have to base our decision on this, which product are we going to make first? Which product are we going to make first? What did we say we're going to make?
We decided to make the most expensive ones.
Good. So based on this, which products should we make first?
Just going to rank them.
Product X.
Which one should come first on
X and then Y.
Product X, Y, then W and Z. Okay? But will this be the best decision? Are we supposed to base our decision on this? Has this taken into consideration something very important?
Yeah, that's where we should rank them. And
where should we rank them? Should we rank them at this stage, or there is something more to do? This is just like in the previous example, we have calculated our contribution per unit. Did we use our contribution per unit as the basis for the decision, or we went further?
Yes, we went for that.
Okay, so what should we do? We have to consider the limiting factor, as simple as that. So in the previous example, we calculated our contribution, but we all agreed that we cannot use our contribution per unit because that's not our problem. Our problem is the limiting factor. So any contribution that you're going to use for your ranking will have to factor the limiting factor. So that was why we looked at our contribution per limiting factor per machine hour. Okay, we looked at that as our basis for our decision. Okay, so this time around also, we have a limiting factor. Our limiting factor is what? Material in kg. So therefore, our extra cost of buying per unit should be cognizant of this. So we should calculate our extra cost of buying per kg. Okay? So let's calculate our extra cost of buying per unit. Okay, our extra cost of buying per unit per kg. Okay, is that clear? Sorry, our extra cost of buying, per kg, not per unit. We've already calculated per unit. So per kg, all right. So simply, we have to take our extra cost of buying per unit divided by our material in kg per unit. Simple. So we say equals our extra cost of buying divided by our material kg. Okay? then we just duplicate. So this is why it was very important to have this here so that you can use it in subsequent formulas. Okay. Is this clear, everyone? So we can replicate this function, formatting here so that we can have them in 2DP. Okay. Is this clear, everybody? Shall we move?
Can you repeat what you just said?
Sorry?
Can you repeat what you just said? You say we divide what by what?
We are dividing the extra cost of buying per unit. We are dividing it by the material in kg per unit, the one we have calculated above, so that we can get our extra cost of buying per kilo. Okay, is that clear, everybody? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, right. So let's move. Let's move. Now we're going to do our ranking. We're going to do our ranking. So, good. Somebody was talking about the ranking. Now we do our ranking here. So which one should we produce first? This time we're not going to do any formula. We can just look at them easily. Okay, so which one are we going to? So the decision will be based on days. I'll make it bold so that you don't confuse it with this other one. So I'll make it 12. That will be fine. Okay, so the decision will be based on this. So we're going to do our ranking based on this. So which one should we produce first? It is cheaper. It is cheaper to produce Z. Z is only 1. So should we start with 1?
No.
Okay.
X.
I hope this makes sense to you. Naturally, if you have an option of making and buying, okay, you will want to make the ones that are going to be more expensive if you have to buy them outside. Simple. So you don't have to learn any formula. That is common sense. The only problem with common sense is that it's not common. Okay? So, but let's try to make common sense common. Okay, so we start with what? With which product?
You start with X.
X, excellent. So X will come 1. Next, Y will be 2. Then you have 3, and then you have 4. So our work is partly done for us. Now, what we're going to do is we have to do our optimum production plan based on this ranking. So I'll make the ranking also bold because it's important. So next will be our optimum production plan. So we're going to put them together. We're going to put our optimum production plan and of course the profit statement. Okay, so optimum production plan and profit statement. Optimum production plan and profit statement. This is what we're coming to do. So, right, so we start first with the first heading, which is our product. Okay, so we need to know how many units we need to produce of those products. So product, then we have our units. Next is our material in kg. Materials in kg. We have our material in kg. Then we have our contribution per unit because we have to calculate our profitability, isn't it? Contribution per unit. Okay, I'm going to wrap that as well. Then we'll have our total contribution. Total contribution / profit. Okay, we had a similar format in the previous question. It's just that we didn't put them together. Okay, it's just that we didn't put them together. Okay, so this is what we're going to require: our optimal production plan and our profitability statement. So based on our ranking, which products should come first? Which products should be produced first? So the first part we're going to do, that's the 8th part, which is the make. So that means everything that we're going to do here will be the products that we'll make. Okay, and the first product that we should make should be what?
Should be Y. Sorry, X.
Look at your ranking.
XX.
Look at your ranking, X. So the first product that we need to make should be X. And we're going to use all the units. We're going to manufacture all the units of X. So we don't have to type anything. I'm going to bring that forward. So I press equals. Then I bring all the units of X. It's here. Okay, so this is going to be how many kilos? This is going to be how many kilos? How many kilos per unit do you need for X?
That one also, I think we already calculated.
Yes.
Yeah, the total kilogram required
is 1.
Is 1, so it's 4,000
so it's going
kilograms.
To be equals this 4,000 multiplied by that 1, because that's the one we need. Enter. Okay, so 4,000 units, because it's at 1 kilo per unit, is 4,000 kilos as well. Okay, so we're going to start our optimal production plan, which is all this column. Okay, and then we end up with our profitability. Okay, so now we've used up 4,000 kilos from our 11,000 kilos. How many kilos are remaining? So let's have 11,000 here. Let's have our 11,000 here as the total, so that we can, monitor it. Okay, it's really important that you have this here, because this is what is available. You don't have to forget about that. That's what is available. Okay. So now, what is the next product that we need to make?
It's product Y.
Product Y. So we bring product Y. How many units of product Y? 3,000, isn't it?
3,000.
Okay, so we bring 3,000 here. And how many kilos will the 3,000 translate to? Product Y has got what? 2 kg per unit. So we multiply by 2, isn't it? So we say equals this 3,000 multiplied by 2. We end. Okay. So you see how efficient this is. You after doing your how to call it, numbers this way, the remaining becomes easy, because you don't have to do typing. You just have to make reference to them for your calculations. Okay. And so that will be what? 4,500 kg. Okay, 4,500 kg. Now, we have to calculate what is our balance, because we've already spent 4,000 kilograms in X. We've already used up 4,500 kilograms in Y. Now, what remains? Okay, what remains is what we're supposed to calculate, isn't it? And that will go to which product? What is the third product we need to produce?
W.
W.
Okay, so that will go to W. So whatever balance remains will go to W. So let's find out how many kgs remain. So in order to calculate the number of kgs remain, we say equals this total minus bracket opens the sum of these two. Bracket closes once, bracket closes twice, we enter. Okay? So what remains is 2,500 kilograms. Okay, so far so good? Okay, does it make sense, class? Happy?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we have 2,500 kg remaining. But how much units is that going to translate to? So we need to find out how many units will the 2,500 kg fetch. So how are we going to calculate that?
We already know the kilogram of material to be used. That is 2,500. So we're just going to divide it by the kilogram per material.
We're going to
From
divide it
W.
We're going to divide it by direct material per kilogram.
Per kilogram, yes, that's the 2.
Okay, for W, is W 2? Yes, W
Yes.
is 2. Good. Okay, so excellent. So we're going to say equals D32, which is the remaining kilogram for W, divided by the where is it? Divided the material in kilogram per unit for W. Where is that? That's the first one, isn't it? So divided by C12. We enter. Okay, no, we don't want to replicate. So that gave us 1,250 units of W is what we're going to make. So our optimal production plan would be to make 4,000 units of X, 3,000 units of Y, 1,250 units of W. Okay? But before we go to our profitability, let's complete our optimal production plan. So we've got our A has make. What is our B? What is our
Buy.
Our B is buy. So this is what we're going to buy from outside suppliers. So now, which ones are we going to buy from outside suppliers? These, remember, these are the ones that are going to cost us more to make. Okay, they are the most expensive ones. The ones we're going to buy from outside suppliers are the ones that is going to cost us less. So they are going to be the cheaper ones. So we buy the ones that are cheaper from outside suppliers because we've already made the ones that are more expensive to buy from outside suppliers. That is 1, 2, and part of 3. Okay? Because they cost £4, okay, per kg, and 250 and 3 respectively. So now, what will be the first product that we need to make? Sorry, we need to buy? What's the first product we need to buy?
The balance
Remaining
of
part
W.
of W.
Okay, it will be W balance. Excellent. Thank you. So it will be the balance of W. And what's the balance of W? We could easily calculate the balance of W. We say equals, we go up to the total of W, which is 2,000 minus what we're going to make, which is 1,250. So the balance of W is 750. Okay, and how many? That one you don't have to know the kilogram. There's no kilogram available anymore. Okay, so what we need to buy is this, and the next will be the contribution. We're coming to that. And what's the last one?
Z.
Z.
That.
So we're going to buy the whole of Z because Z is cheap to buy. Okay, so we take the whole of Z. So we say equals, we have 1,000 units of Z here. Okay, so our optimal production plan will be to make, okay, let's find the total of this. So I just do the sum formula here. Our optimal production plan will be to make 8,250 units of, to make 8,250 units of X, Y, and W, and 1,750. Let me just do the calculation here as well. 1,750 units of what remains in W, and the whole of Z, we're going to buy that from an outside supplier. Why are we buying? Because they are cheaper to buy. As simple as that. They are cheaper to buy. Okay. Right. So this is our optimal production plan for your information. Now, because we have this optimal production plan, and our optimal production plan gives us the best option in terms of profitability. So now what do? We have to calculate our profit. So we calculate our contribution, and we less fixed cost if there is any. But in this question, there is no fixed cost, so all our contribution will become profit. Is that clear, everybody? Now, let's find out the contribution per unit. What's the contribution per unit for X?
Sorry.
Yes.
The ones we're going to buy, are we not going to consider the kilograms in material we're going to use?
Do you have any kilogram available anymore?
No.
Yeah. So why do you consider it?
We already know the kilograms of materials that outside they are charging us, what we calculated there. So we're not going to take that to calculate the required materials in kilograms.
No, this is what I'm saying. The materials have used up. The materials in kg have used up because our maximum that we can use is 11,000. Okay? 11,000. The remaining part is this, the 4,000. Of course, we are getting that from an outside supplier, but there is no need to relate that here. What we are concerned here is to ascertain the units that we have to make and their corresponding kilogram. This is what is available. So the other 4 kilograms is not available. So we don't even have to bother about it. Okay, so what we should do here is to calculate our profitability based on this plan. Is that clear? If we can bring the units here or the kilogram here, but it does not make any sense. It's not going to be of any benefit to us.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not going to be of any benefit to us because now what we are interested in is this. Now we know this. We know what remains. This is the units that has been segregated accordingly. Now we're going to find, because our contribution here does not depend on the kg. So therefore, we don't need to put the kgs here. Our contribution is per unit. Clear? Okay, so let's move. Now, what is our contribution per unit for X? What's our contribution per unit for X?
It's £4.
Good. How did we get the £4? The contribution per unit is the sales price per unit.
It is on the
less
question. The
variable
£4
cost
is
per
on the
unit.
question.
It's already on the
It is
question, yeah?
given.
Good. And it's given. Good. On the plate. So we say £4 given in the question. Good. So what about Y? £6 also given in the question. W,
12.
the contribution per unit for W?
It's 12.
It's also given in the question. Now, before we do our calculation, what will be the contribution per unit for the balance of W and the contribution per unit for Z? Okay, can someone tell me how are we going to arrive at that?
SP minus cost of buying. SP selling price minus the cost of buying.
Okay, the selling price minus the purchase price. The selling price per unit minus the buying price per unit. Simple. Okay, so how much is that?
It's 19 hours.
It's 19 hours. I say, how much is that? And it says 19 hours. What a coincidence. Interesting. Okay, so what's the selling price for W and what's the buying price?
The selling price for W is 29.
29. It's
29.
given. So we say equals 29 minus the buying price. What's the purchase price per unit?
It's 20.
20. Excellent. So our purchase price, our contribution per unit for the remaining of W that is going to be bought in will be 9. What about our contribution per unit for Z? Equals
Equals 39.
39, which is the selling price per unit,
Minus
minus
21.5. 21.5.
21.5. Okay. So I'm going to make all this to 1 dp. Okay, so we have 9 as our contribution per unit for W and the 17.5 as a contribution per unit for Z. Okay, is that clear? So now, this is a good point for us to calculate our total contribution stroke our profit. Okay, so it's going to be equals the contribution per unit multiplied by the total units we enter. So we duplicate everything. We don't want this to appear. We don't want that to appear. Is that okay, everyone? Is that okay, everyone? Then we'll have our
I'm
total.
confused with the contribution of Z.
Sorry?
Contribution of Z. You have 17.5.
Yes, the contribution of Z, we took the selling price per unit for Z, less the purchase price per unit for Z. So that is 39 selling price per unit, less 21.5. The 21.5 is the what?
Okay, no
problem.
21.5 is the buying price per unit. Yes.
The contribution for X, Y, and W.
Yes.
How do you get it when you are calculating I left my phone momentarily.
Okay, the contribution for X, Y, and W is very simple. It was given in the question. When you look at the question, it gave you all the variable costs at 17, 7, 12, and 19, and it gave you the selling price, and the contribution is calculated. So we didn't do any work, we just took those contributions and plugged them here. So, but for these ones, we need to do calculation. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I get it now.
You got it. Okay, good. So our total contribution or profit is going to be the sum of everything. So I say equals sum, bracket opens, just grab everything, enter. So our total contribution, of course, by default is the profit as well, is 73,250. 73,250. Okay. So we have our optimal production plan. We're going to align it here. Okay, so this is where we're going to end for today. Please, if there are any questions, let me know. If there are any questions, let me know. If you don't understand anything, I'm sure if you watch the video step by step, you will understand everything, including the spreadsheet functions that we've learned. Okay. Any questions, please, or any comments that you want to make before we wrap up?
Okay, my question is,
Yes.
in the making decision, why do you take the whole contribution for W as 12, and later then in the buying decision you also brought 9 there?
Okay, you say in the make decision, why do I have the, okay, the contribution, okay, that's a good one. The contribution for W in the make situation is 12. The reason is we are considering the variable cost of making less. So we're considering the selling price per unit less the variable cost of making. Okay, the contribution per unit for W in the buy region is what? The sales per unit less the buying price per unit. The sales per unit is 29, whilst the buying price per unit is 20. So they cannot be the same.
Oh yeah, I know. I thought that you will apportion the 12 because we didn't produce all of double. That was my concern.
Apportioning to apportion with 12.
The contribution, because if at all we produce the 2,500, that is the contribution for the question. So we didn't produce that. We produced 1,250 because that is what is available. So
yes,
I thought
so
the 12 also apportioned.
The 12 cannot be apportioned. The situation is different. This one is making, this one is buying.
Okay, no problem. I understand.
I think the reason is because it's per unit. That's why 12 cannot apportion.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So any other question? It's about to rain here. I think I need to go quickly.
Yeah, even here also.
Sorry?
I say even here.
Yes.
My area.
So any more questions before we wrap up, please? Karamo? I hope all of you have done your assignment that you are supposed to submit today. That's the 6B, NIL Limited. And if you submit your assignment lately, know that I'm going to capture it. This one, there is no cheating. If you submit it lately, you are going to be deducted some marks. There is no doubt about that. Yeah? So please make sure you submit your assignment on time. And of course, if you submit it lately, It's not going to stop you from submitting, but the time you submit will be registered, and I will definitely know that you are late. And of course, you're going to lose marks if you submit late. Okay. So,
Mr. Fofana.
yes, Yusufa.
Mr. Fofana.
Yes, sir.
Me, I use the same spreadsheet that we used before, and I adjusted it there. Or are you going to make another spreadsheet?
No. The same spreadsheet. The same spreadsheet. You just have to create a new worksheet for it. That's it.
Okay. I did that one.
Okay, good. So, okay, class, have a good time. Tomorrow at the same time, 5 o'clock, we have class, okay? Inshallah. Tomorrow we have